Alright, what's up, y'all? My name is Freddie James. Y'all probably know me as Carlton London. I'm from Suffolk, Virginia, and I'm a photographer slash graphic designer. Growing up in Suffolk was pretty dope, actually. That's actually one of the more relaxed areas of the 7-5, I should say. I was born in Northern Virginia, but I moved to Suffolk shortly after I was born, like a month or a year after I was born, and I've been in Suffolk my whole life. But like I said, it was actually really chill, really calm, cool and collected, man. It's no real problems out there. Growing up in Suffolk, man, I lived in this neighborhood called Steeplechase, and my family and I, we stayed in this cul-de-sac, and it was because my mom, being that I was young, she didn't want me to be like, I guess, roaming the neighborhood at such a young age, so she used to always have me riding in the cul-de-sac. But growing up, all we did was we used to ride our bikes, our scooters, ride up and down the neighborhood, irritate the middle schoolers. We used to play basketball, football, chill on the green box. I think everybody chilled on the green box. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody did that joint. We used to play kickball, go to the pool. It was real cool. Like, we just kind of created our own stuff. Like, we always just created our own stuff. Like, even if it was games that nobody had ever heard of, we were just always being creative and just starting our own stuff, just being original trendsetters. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was no technology for real back then, so we had to do what we had to do. You know what I mean? We definitely always got picked on. We got picked on for being different, regardless. We got picked on for being different. We got picked on for being young. We got picked on for being artists, and just mainly it was just because we're doing things that society wasn't telling other people to do, which is still a big problem for today. But yeah, we always got joked on, man. But we never really cared, though. We just always did our own thing. You know what I'm saying? We always did our own thing. So this is the deal. I started to get interested into photography back in 2008. I've been shooting for 10 years now, going on 11. But I wasn't always a photographer, though. The thing is back when MySpace was kind of like hot, you know, everybody was always taking those like mirror selfies, and they would like oversaturate their pictures OD and throw like graphics and like all that type of like corny stuff, like, cause it wasn't corny then, but you know, it was a trend. But one of my homies actually at the time that I was cool with, he never took his pictures like that. Like, his photos were always crisp and clean for what it was back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, his images could have came out of a magazine back then. So when I saw his pictures, I was like, you know what? I want my photos to look just like that. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna make it happen. But I can't take these mirror pictures, man. I can't be like everybody. I was big on being different. Well, I'm still big on being different, but I just didn't want my pictures to look like the average MySpace photo. So what I did was that Christmas, I asked my mom, could she get me a camera? That's all I wanted, because my birthday and Christmas is 2 weeks apart. So I asked her just for the camera. That's it. I don't want nothing else. So she got me this Fujifilm. It was a Fujifilm point and shoot. That was my very first camera I've ever had in my entire life. And it was built like a DSLR, but you just couldn't change the lens. It didn't have an interchangeable lens. I didn't know anything about cameras back then. All I knew was that I wanted a camera. That's all I knew. And she got me that. I was super stoked about it, super hyped. And what I started doing was I started taking pictures of myself. That was the very first type of images I did, was just strictly self-portraits. And I started taking pictures of myself, and I found out about an editing software called Photoscape. Basically, it was like Photoshop, but it was a free version. And one of my homeboys put me onto it, and I downloaded it on my computer that same month, that same December. And I just started playing around with it. I started playing around with different effects. I got on YouTube, looked up how to use Photoscape. I looked up how to do like different cloning effects. I looked up, that was real popular back then, the cloning before like it became like an app. That was really like hot back then. The cloning effect. playing around with black and white. Then I started perfecting different angles. Like I looked up different angles, what to shoot on a rainy day, what to shoot on a sunny day, how to shoot on a rainy day, how to shoot on a sunny day. I started learning about ISO early. I started learning about aperture early, which was really difficult for me to understand at first. Like it was a very hard concept for me to grasp. Dealing with how to set your ISO to a certain light, because with that point and shoot, I used to always shoot with like the automatic settings. So if it was sunny outside, I would just turn my camera into like the sun logo, and I would just run with that. You know what I mean? Like that's just what I would do. Until I got on YouTube one day and came across a random video about ISO, and taught myself about that. But yeah, I'm pretty self-taught about everything. But I started back in 2008. It was because of one of my homeboys' pictures on MySpace. Shout out to that homie. I really cannot remember his name. I haven't seen him since 2007, but shout out to him, man. Like, because if it wasn't for him, I really probably wouldn't be where I am today, in all honesty.